Those lights, he didn't just joke, he warned them. Years ago, right to their faces, he stared down a room full of Hollywood's untouchables and told them, "They're coming for you."
You could binge watch the entire first season of Afterlife instead of watching this show. That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife dies of cancer, and it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care. You had to make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you? Right.
Kept asking you back to do those awards, and the actual actors and actresses in the audience, they looked terrified at the idea of you mentioning their name. Did you feel that?
I did, and I noticed it the first time. I didn't get it. Like, one of the first one I did it, people would come up and say, "What are you going to say about me?" I think, why do you care? I only go after their public behaviours. I don't, expose anything about them or, nothing that bad.
What made you think, you know what, I'm just going to hammer them?
When they said, do you want to host the Golden Globes, all that stuff I said in the show was true. I said, I'm going to write my own jokes. Right? And I thought, who do I pander to? The 200 richest people in the room, or the 200 million people watching at home who aren't winning awards, who aren't millionaires?
Before we get into the names, you need to understand what people believe is happening. Because without the background, none of this will make sense. Don't worry, I'll keep it short. I'm not going to go deep into who Jeffrey Epstein was or everything he did. The only part that matters here is this: he died in prison and the official ruling was suicide. But a lot of people, including Ricky Gervais, have never accepted that explanation. When people talk about the Epstein files, they're referring to a mix of court documents, FBI records, and flight logs that reportedly connect certain individuals to his world. And that's where the suspicion really intensifies. A huge portion of that material is still sealed, heavily redacted, or blacked out. Some claim it's as much as 70 to 80% of certain documents still hidden from public view. So when someone says, that name isn't in the files, that isn't the full picture, because there's still a lot the public simply hasn't been allowed to see. Right now, the releases are happening slowly, piece by piece. And then another moment lit the fire even more. Epstein survivor Lisa Phillips went on live television and said she has her own list. She looked straight into the camera and claimed she knows exactly who was involved and that she isn't afraid to say it.
Transparency is justice. Release the files, end the secrecy, and stand with us in declaring that no one, no billionaires, no politicians, not world leaders, is above the law.
And then there's Ricky Gervais, the British comedian and writer who hosted the Golden Globes multiple times and used every one of those stages to take aim at Hollywood with jokes, punchlines, and that razor-sharp grin. But as you're about to see, many viewers didn't take those moments as just jokes. To them, it sounded like something else entirely, a warning hidden in plain sight. So let's rewind to the 2020 Golden Globes. Picture the room. The biggest names in Hollywood, draped in designer outfits, polished smiles, champagne glasses within reach, sitting right there under the cameras. Then Gervais walks out and on live television makes a pointed remark about Jeffrey Epstein's death, implying he didn't believe the official story. The atmosphere shifts, the laughter tightens. For a second, it feels like the entire room forgets how to breathe. You can almost see the tension settling over the tables. And Ricky, he doesn't flinch, he doesn't soften it, he doesn't step back. Instead, he doubles down, staring into that sea of famous faces and essentially telling them, I know this makes you uncomfortable. I don't care.
I know he's your friend, but I don't care. You had to make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you? Right.
And then the camera cuts to Tom Hanks. People online have never let that moment go. In that room under those lights, his expression didn't read like laughter, it read like discomfort. Like he wanted the floor to split open and swallow him whole. Hold that thought. We'll come back to him in a minute. But here's the thing. This wasn't even the first time Gervais had done something like this. Go back further to the 2012 Golden Globes. Once again, he's on that stage, staring down a room full of power, and he makes a pointed joke suggesting they were afraid of journalist Ronan Farrow, a man who would later become known for high-profile investigations that shook the entertainment world. That line didn't land softly. It wasn't meant to.
It's been an amazing year in show business. It's not all been good news. What's with all the divorces? What's going on? I mean, Arnold and Maria, J-Lo and Mark Anthony, Ashton and Demi, Kim Kardashian and some guy no one will ever remember. He wasn't around long. 72 days. A marriage that lasted 72 days. I've sat through longer James Cameron acceptance speeches than that. Other celebrity scandal. Justin Bieber nearly had to take a paternity test. What a waste of a test that would have been. No.
Here's what Joe...
Here's what Joe Rogan had to say about all of this. And when Rogan gives someone their flowers, people pay attention. He said Ricky isn't up there telling jokes just to get applause. He's using comedy like a blade, saying the quiet parts out loud, slipping uncomfortable truths into punchlines, and letting them land before anyone in the room even realizes what just happened.
The idea that a guy actually had a island. I mean, it's...
That's what Ricky Gervais was joking about last night. Did you watch that?
Of course he was. No, but I did see the one clip that somebody put on the internet about him saying, don't virtue signal, just come on here and get your little prize, go off, because nobody cares about your opinion. I was like, thank you.
Ricky Gervais wasn't performing. In the eyes of many viewers, he was warning them. And now, they believe everything he hinted at is starting to unravel in real time. And then there's Tom Hanks, going quiet at what some people online are calling the worst possible moment. Now let's talk about Tom Hanks, because his reaction during that Epstein line at the Golden Globes became one of the most replayed, most dissected clips on the internet, and people still bring it up. Here's what online commentators keep pointing to. A quick Google search might suggest his name isn't sitting front and center in the publicly known material. But remember what we just covered. Many people believe a large portion of the documents remain sealed or heavily redacted. Some even estimate that 70 to 80% of certain records are still obscured. So in their eyes, the absence of a name right now isn't proof of innocence. It isn't a clean bill of health. It only means one thing: we haven't seen everything yet.
Hey guys, so Tom Hanks is in the Epstein files. Yes, and it seems to be pretty significant, as I will describe. So in this first example, it sounds like Tom Hanks was hanging out with Epstein. Let's go over what happened. So this is an email from Peggy Siegel to Epstein from 2013, well after Epstein's conviction, by the way. Peggy Siegel was the publicist for Epstein who had offered to bring Epstein back little boys or girls from a trip, and Peggy Siegel says to Epstein, if Tom Hanks is around, tell him his Walt Disney is a bit hit. I think she meant to say big hit, but it sounds like Tom Hanks may have been hanging out with Epstein around, I guess, this Thanksgiving time. Really sketchy. Remember that Epstein's first conviction was in 2008. This email is from 2013. And despite what people are trying to say, it was very well known that Epstein was a convicted offender of you-know-what. Let's talk about the other places that Tom Hanks appears in the Epstein files. Oh wait, quick note on that first email. It was addressed to someone named David, who was apparently right off the coast of Jeffrey's private island.
There are also
unverified claims are also circulating online suggesting his name does appear in the files, not splashed across the headlines, but mentioned in passing in a way that, to some people, implies he wasn't exactly a stranger to those circles. What that actually means is still up for debate, and there's no confirmed public evidence to settle it. But the internet has run with the suggestion anyway, and it's not hard to see why. Then there are further rumors, still unconfirmed, that Hanks was denied entry into Greece over alleged Epstein-related connections. His team has denied it. But by now we all know how this works. A spokesperson's denial rarely cools anything down online. If anything, it often pours petrol on the fire. What people are treating as more tangible is this. Tom Hanks has reportedly pulled back from a string of public appearances. No press runs, no big sit-down interviews, no red carpets, just an eerie kind of silence. And in the current climate, staying that quiet doesn't help him at all in the court of public opinion.
More to do with actor Tom Hanks in the midst of the release of over 3 million files, and millions more to come by the DOJ, roughly 2.5 million more looming. Now, after Hanks already made comments about the release of the files by turning it into an anti-Trump rant, after Hanks not only got tons of backlash, but also how his Trump rants made him appear suspicious. What's even more revealing now is that Tom Hanks canceled several appearances that were going to involve meet and greets with the audience and a full-on question and answer segment. It turns out that Hanks' entire team team advised him to not attend these events in light of his recent comments about Trump and the DOJ after releasing over 3 million Epstein files. Now, the strategy for now is to essentially hide from fans or audience members as much as possible until the news cycle waters down, which will potentially ask questions about Jeffrey Epstein.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Ricky's favorite target. Now let's talk about one of Ricky Gervais's most repeated targets, Leonardo DiCaprio. Because Ricky has taken shots at him more than once, and the jabs have never felt random. They've always been specific. The running joke is always the same. DiCaprio's well-documented pattern of dating women under 25 like clockwork every single time. The internet has memed it to death, but beneath the laughter, people aren't just joking anymore. They're raising their eyebrows. Because when Gervais keeps circling the same person again and again, viewers start to wonder if he's hinting at something more than comedy.
Talking of all you perverts, it was a big year. It was a big year for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, Two Popes. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care. Many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very racist. So, fifth time. So,
and here's where it gets serious. According to claims circulating online, DiCaprio's name has shown up in the Epstein files. Not once, not twice, but multiple times. One of the most talked about allegations is that Epstein tried to arrange a dinner between DiCaprio and Woody Allen. Woody Allen. If that pairing doesn't make you pause for a second, it's hard to know what will. DiCaprio has denied any wrongdoing. He said he never visited the island and never knew Epstein personally. And maybe that's true, but this is where the speculation keeps boiling over. Large parts of the material are still sealed or heavily redacted. So people ask the question anyway. Could there be context buried in sections the public hasn't seen? Possibly. Could details about that alleged dinner arrangement be sitting inside a document that's still sealed? Also possible. What people keep coming back to is this. His name is being talked about in connection with those documents, and the dinner claim has spread widely online. And in the middle of all that noise, DiCaprio has been keeping an unusually low profile. You can draw your own conclusions, but for many viewers, it doesn't feel like nothing.
Nothing.
Files expose Leonardo DiCaprio swapping emails with Woody Allen where he brags about being a full-blown cannibal. In those messages, Leonardo openly discusses a cannibal diet and boasts that he put away over 70 pounds of child meat in just 2 weeks. This same conversation is filled with grotesque code words for children. Repeated references to jerky appear throughout their exchange, with jerky widely interpreted as code for human flesh. In one email, instructions were given to transport the jerky in a cold insulated bag with ice, which is suspicious because standard dried jerky doesn't require refrigeration, unlike fresh human flesh would. Clearly, they are referencing the consumption of large amounts of human flesh, which they describe as jerky.
Oprah Winfrey, the name people keep dragging into it. And then there's Oprah. Big, beloved, seemingly untouchable Oprah Winfrey. The woman who built an empire by being in everyone's living room, year after year, decade after decade. In this narrative, she becomes the kind of figure Ricky Gervais appears to be hinting at when he talks about Hollywood insiders who know what's going on, and choose to say absolutely nothing. And this is where the conversation turns dangerous, because online speculation doesn't stay small for long. Her name gets pulled into the Epstein storm through claims and rumors that remain unverified. And some people online frame those claims as if they're settled fact when they're not. These are massive accusations, the kind that can destroy reputations in a heartbeat. And if there's one thing that should be non-negotiable here, it's this. Allegations at this level require evidence, not noise.
You know what I'm saying? Like Oprah Winfrey stood next to and kissed perverts and kissed like sick perverts right in front of our face during survival. She was defending every pervert that she could defend. From Russell Simmons to Diddy Glover to what's the other dude? Weinstein. But like I said, it's more proof and things that are coming out, man, with this Epstein guy.
But here's what
makes it harder for people to brush aside. The John of God situation. Cast your mind back. Oprah Winfrey was once one of the most enthusiastic public supporters of a Brazilian spiritual healer named João Teixeira de Faria, better known as John of God. She featured him on her platform, spoke highly of him, and helped bring him into mainstream attention in front of millions. Years later, his image collapsed. He faced a wave of accusations and was ultimately convicted on multiple charges related to sexual abuse, receiving an extraordinarily long sentence measured in hundreds of years. Let that sit for a second. And then the online speculation goes even further. Claims have circulated, unverified, that an Epstein-related document includes a woman alleging Epstein offered her money to have babies, and that the same material draws a connection between Epstein, John of God, and Oprah. If that were ever proven accurate, it would be explosive. But right now, it remains a claim moving through the internet, not a settled fact. What people fixate on is the silence. Through all of this, Oprah has gone quiet, very quiet. The woman who spent decades making sure the whole world could hear her voice suddenly seems comfortable staying out of the public eye. Jay-Z, the follower drop that people say tells its own story. Now we need to talk about Jay-Z because this one hit differently. He's been keeping an extremely low profile lately, and in the current climate, people read into that, especially with Epstein-related headlines continuing to circulate. Here's the number that's been bouncing around online. Claims that Jay-Z and Beyoncé have shed around 10 million followers combined across their social platforms. 10 million. That isn't a small dip. That isn't a bad week. That's people actively walking away from two of the biggest names in music on purpose all at once, at least according to the narrative spreading online.
It appears as though one of those poop splatters is Jay-Z. I mean, come on, one of Diddy's close friends wouldn't be doing this stuff, would he? Epstein files reveal this FBI report, which says in approximately 1994, revealed herself to blank as a past victim of sex abuse by Epstein. Blank described the abuse occurred during parties. In approximately 1996, blank resided with blank in blank, just to be specific. An unknown man abducted blank from her home when she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, Jay-Z.
So what's actually in the files? Here, what's being reported. This particular claim is said to come from a 2019 FBI crisis intake report, a record of an unverified call made to an FBI tip hotline later archived within the broader Epstein-related material. And that context matters. This is not a sworn statement. It's not a court filing. It's not a proven allegation. It is quite literally a log of a phone call. But here, why people aren't brushing it aside. An anonymous woman allegedly claimed that around 1996, she was taken from her home and later woke up in what she believed was Epstein's Florida mansion. She said she found herself in a room with two men, Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, known publicly as Jay-Z. She alleged she had been drugged, leaving her memory fragmented. And she claimed that while Jay-Z was present in the room, Weinstein sexually assaulted her. It's a devastating allegation. And yes, it remains exactly that, an anonymous, unverified tip. But in an era where stories once dismissed as unverified have sometimes gone on to reveal deeper truths, people online aren't letting this one fade quietly. To them, the follower drop alone signals that the court of public opinion has already started moving, fast, emotional, and unforgiving. The celebrities who are going quiet, a pattern you can't ignore. And here's where everything connects. Ricky Gervais wasn't just taking aim at individual names. In the eyes of many viewers, he was pointing at an entire system. And right now, they believe you can watch that system panic in real time, because it isn't only about who appears in the documents. It's about what the people linked to those conversations are doing right now. And when you step back and look at the pattern, it becomes harder to ignore.
I can't even cry during this survival episode because it's like Oprah Winfrey, she had these allegations going on for years. You know what I'm saying? And it's just very, very hideous and traumatizing to know that a lot of these things are starting to come out to be true.
Richard Gere has reportedly just sold his massive compound in Connecticut, and he sold it at a loss. A multimillionaire taking less than he could have got. So people online are asking the obvious question, why would anyone do that? His team says it's simply about wanting to be closer to his wife's family in Spain. A sweet, tidy explanation. But the internet isn't buying sweet right now. Because in their minds, you don't let go of a dream home below value unless you feel you need to move fast. And the timing, roughly a month before what people keep calling the Epstein deadline, is exactly the kind of detail that fuels speculation. Then there's Eva Longoria. She's reportedly been quietly cutting the price on her Beverly Hills home while moving her family between Spain and Mexico. And when wealthy people start dropping prices, people interpret it one way. They want a sale now, not next month, not later now, no big announcement, no dramatic goodbye, just a slow, careful relocation piece by piece. And Rosie O'Donnell. People online claim she's moved to Ireland and said she's never returning to the United States. That's not a holiday, that's not a casual life change. Because you don't say, I'm never coming back, unless you feel like something is closing in. Rosie's been a Hollywood insider for decades. She's been to the parties. She knows the people. So the question the internet keeps pushing is simple and unsettling. Does she know what's in those files? Even Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes get pulled into the conversation. Reports and rumors suggest they've been looking at property in London. They haven't left, but in the current climate, people treat the idea of looking as a signal. Maybe, they say, they're the smart ones, getting out before the whole thing becomes impossible to outrun. And that's the point this story keeps circling back to. These aren't being treated as random coincidences online. When multiple famous people seem to be doing similar things at the same time, selling homes, cutting prices, going quiet, disappearing, people don't see bad luck. They see a pattern, they see preparation, they see self-protection, they see people trying to stay one step ahead. If you've been here from the beginning, you already knew where this was heading. And if you're only catching up now, better late than never. Because one thing, in the eyes of viewers who believe this narrative, feels increasingly clear. Ricky Gervais was telling the truth in the most powerful room in the world, disguised as a punchline, and not a single person could touch him for it. He deserves his flowers, and maybe we should have been paying closer attention from the very start.
Kate, were you in the audience for any of Ricky's Golden Globes?
Several times. It was a little bit...
I think it cuts to you in one of them.
I think when you talk about Jeffrey Epstein, I don't know why.
Now I want to hear from you. Which celebrity exit shocked you the most? And when the remaining material finally drops, which name do you think will be the biggest reveal? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and I genuinely want to know what you think. See you in the next one.